just don't know when to quit.
Yeah, I've been told that before.
Wow. Are you guys seeing this? I need a weapon.
Hello there.
Here with you.
I thought yours was good.
Cheers, everyone. How's it going? How's it going? Welcome to Slav's Free Talk, the podcast that talks all things pop culture. Last week was a whirlwind, was it not? Was it not? We had what three shows I did last week. Man, it was crazy. It was a whirlwind. It was a lot of fun though, and this week's probably not going to be as crazy. We're going to do our typical 2 shows. We'll have our podcast today, and then we'll do our normal Watchtower this Thursday. But we got a good bit to talk about today. We have some things when it comes to the video game world, when it comes to films and TV and stuff like that. Gears of War movie, I guess. Blue Beetle information. Daredevil ratings have kind of come out this past week. Galactus, we get our first look of Galactus in the upcoming Fantastic Four, as well as who Sadie Sink may be playing in the upcoming Marvel Sony Picture Spider-Man movie. YouTube has kind of attacked YouTubers, but in a good way, believe it or not. Believe it or not, this is a good thing. And we'll also talk about when the Superman tickets may be going on sale, as well as getting into the box office numbers for this past weekend. But how's it going, everyone? Who is here? Who is here? We see Xander. Haven't seen Xander for a while. Hope for Life says, hey, Slav, did you hear the news? What news? What news? I spend the time with the family, cleaning the car, eating the dinners, all that kind of stuff. So did I miss something that just dropped recently? Because I haven't heard any kind of big news during the day, so maybe I did miss something. I don't know. We got Trayvon in here saying, hey, Xander, what's up? Talking to Xander there. Everybody's happy to see Xander here. Nice to see you back, bud. Hope for Life says, according to somebody I was talking to last night, Snyder fans are the majority of the DC fandom. No, not even a little. Not even a little. Critic Chris says, hey, Slav, fellow DC fans. The Glimmercast. Yo, what up, Slav and crew? Person turquoise waving. Hi. Let's see. Who else do we got? Donovan Martin. He's in here. I swear the Snyder Bros are reaching so hard to nitpick on Superman. They truly are. They truly are. Sanders says, Slav, are you drinking alcohol? It's an adult beverage. It sure is an adult beverage. It's a delicious adult beverage. Enjoy. Delicious. Let's see. Anybody else? The Watcher's here. And that's all I see in the comment section right now. But glad to see you all here. And last week, like I said, was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody who joined the shows last week. And the Watchtower last Thursday was tons of fun. I had Real Anarchy on. I had Resonant Justice on. I had the guys from Superhero Cuts on, as well as Derpy Entertainment was on. It was loads of fun. So if you haven't checked out that show, we talked all about the Superman trailer, as well as a few little tidbits of news that dropped that day and the day before. Go check it out. It is an excellent episode where we just kind of break down, talk about our theories, ideas, and kind of what the trailer was all about. So go check that out. It's on my channel now, as well as on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all that jazz. All right. Movie talk now goes, Slav is live, rips off shirt like it's a WWE event. Oh, man. All right. Let's get into the first topic of the day, which is our box office breakdown for the weekend. Now you can head over to slavsfreetalk.com and find this article over there. So this past weekend, we got really just 2 new releases that came out. The big one was Final Destination Bloodlines, and it did really, really, really well. Look, Warner Brothers is knocking it out of the park the past month or two with Minecraft, with Sinners, and now Final Destination. They've really just kind of just 1, 2, 3 punch big time here. Absolutely knocking it out of the park. You gotta love you have to love to see it. You really do. But they started off this run for this movie with a record-breaking $51 million domestically and over $100 million worldwide for this Final Destination movie. And it is getting wild word of mouth. And look, if you're a fan of those types of movies, I'm not really a fan of those movies, but I'm even kind of interested in going to see this thing. I am, because of just how great word of mouth it has. I've seen the other ones. I don't think I've seen all of them. I've seen the first, the second, and I know I definitely saw the last one before this, the 5th one. The other ones between there, I'm not 100% sure if I've seen them. They all kind of run together at some point, but I've seen some of them. And again, like, I'm not a big fan of this franchise. Like, again, I'm not a big horror movie fan, but because of how good this is doing and how many people are saying, hey, this is a really, really good entry in the franchise, I kind of want to go see it now. So I'm thinking about it. But yeah, absolutely phenomenal with this. You have Sinners, which, hey, it's doing really, really good so far, which I think it's now, let's see. Well, here, let's just kind of go through this. Bloodline is not going to have the same kind of legs as Sinners. Look, next week, or this coming Friday, I should say, is a huge week. There's going to be 2 huge films coming out with Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch. Final Destination is going to really struggle to go up against those 2. Not saying it's not going to do well. I'm just saying, look, Sinners only dropped, what was it, like 19% its second week. We're not going to see a small drop like that. I'm sure Final Destination, I'm guessing within the 50 to 56% range is what we'll see a Final Destination drop, which is admirable, which is absolutely great. That's what you kind of want to see from a movie into a second week. But Mission Impossible, Lilo and Stitch, those are going to be the 2 big films this coming weekend. So Final Destination is not going to have a great second week outing like Sinners did when you look at percentage-wise, but it's still going to have a strong second weekend for sure. Now, speaking of Sinners did really good. It came in 3rd place. So its now global haul is at $316 million, which is very admirable. I'm thinking it's going to finish around 350, 400 when all is said and done, which I think I said at the beginning before the movie even came out. Like I was saying, I thought it could hit that 400, and that was like the high end. And I think there was somebody in my comments was like telling me like, "Oh man, it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen." I was like, "Look, man, I hear you, but that's the high end. I just have a feeling. Look, it could get there, but I'm leaning more towards 350. I really am. Thunderbolts was number 2. It's got another 16 million domestically, pushing it to 325 million globally. I don't think it's going to have much more legs running into June here. I think it's going to finish probably around 400 million when the dust settles. I do. That's where I think it's going to land. And then Minecraft still chugging along. It's now sitting at $925 million worldwide. That $1 billion milestone is within reach, but I think as each day goes by, it just gets further and further out of grasp. I don't know if they just let it sit in theaters for another 3-4 weeks, maybe it can hit it. Maybe. I don't know. I keep saying Lilo and Stitch is going to be the death of Minecraft, though, for the theatrical run. Once Lilo and Stitch gets in there, kids, families, everybody is just going to say Minecraft what? Because they're just going to go see Lilo and Stitch. And that comes out this week. So I think Minecraft didn't hit that billion. Not taking anything away from it. That movie was massively successful. You're looking at probably 935, 940 probably is where it's going to finish. Maybe 950 is where it's going to finish. When all is said and done, maybe a little higher, a little lower. That is phenomenal. Great job to everybody there in that team. I didn't see it happening, but they did it. Great job. But Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible this weekend, going to be both massively overperforming this weekend, I'm sure. I know I'm taking my whole family basically to go see Lilo and Stitch this weekend. I'm hoping to find time to then go see Mission Impossible this weekend as well. It's going to be a great weekend for films. Memorial Day weekend typically is. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. I think, though, what's going to be interesting, though, is Lilo and Stitch. The rumor has it that they only spent $100 million for the budget for that movie. That's just the rumor. You figure any money they make over $250 million is all money in the bank for them. I think it's going to make that amount within the first week. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Lilo and Stitch is going to make north of 250 within the first week. I mean, this movie is going to be huge, absolutely huge in my mind. I think globally by next Friday, not this Friday, by next Friday, 250 easy it'll have, if not more. And then we take a look at Mission Impossible, which the rumor says that budget has crossed $400 million. Look, I'll be shocked if this movie, look, I love the Mission Impossible films, but the highest one was Fallout, which came out in 2018, and that made like $750 million. I don't see this one making that much money, or even more. I could see this maybe hitting 500 to 600 million. Tom Cruise is absolutely a sell and absolutely a reason to go to the movies. I just don't see this one being the movie that's going to make $1 billion, make $900 million in that franchise. I just don't see it, especially because the early reception from critics and the early viewings hasn't been strong, hasn't been great. That's not to say it's not going to be a good movie. It's not to say that a lot of people aren't going to go and see it and enjoy it. Plus, we're looking at a 3-hour-long movie, which means fewer showings each day in the theaters, which hurts ticket sales as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but I'm looking forward to it still. But that's it, man, everyone. I mean, that's pretty much the box office roundup for this weekend and what I expect to come this coming weekend. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. There was a movie called, what was it called? I don't even see it here. Whatever. There was a Jenna Ortega movie that came out this past weekend. It made like $3 million with The Weeknd as well. Nobody cared about it, obviously. But there you go, guys. That's the box office rundown for this past weekend and what's coming up this coming weekend. What do you guys think is going to happen this weekend? What are you going to go see? Are you going to go see Lilo and Stitch? Are you going to see Mission Impossible? Are you going to go see both? Let me know your thoughts and opinions and what you're going to see in the comments below. All right, guys. What are you saying over here? I saw a lot of comments popping up here. A lot of comments. Movie Talk Now says Lilo's going to do so well. There's going to be fecal matter on Jack Black after the dump they take on Minecraft. Yeah, it's going to do that. That movie's going to make all the money this year. All the money. You know, and I sit there and I think like Lilo and Stitch is going to make so much money. And then we have Zootopia 2 coming out later this year. And that's going to make a lot of money too. But which one of the two is going to make more? We also, don't forget, we also have How to Train Your Dragon in a few weeks. That's going to make a lot of money also. I don't think it's going to make Lilo and Stitch money, but that's like, there's a lot of money man, so much money is going to be made at the box office this year. And people just, I don't think people realize it. I think it's going to be a big year for the box office. D-Man7 says Final Destination 6 definitely deserves its 93% Rotten Tomatoes score. Saw it on Saturday. Great film. Excellent to hear. Excellent to hear. Xander Wild says, enough of that talk. Talk about Superman. American Eagle screech. Rah! Jeez. Trevon says, kids to see a live action remake of a movie that came out when their parents were kids warms the heart. Absolutely. Xander says, Blue Alien, Gremlin, and Girl. Well, hey, look, Lilo and Stitch is an amazing movie. I don't care. It's one of my favorite movies. D-Man7 says, Mission is the movie I'm checking out. Excellent. Hope for Life. Do you think they'll put the Superman trailer in front of Lilo and Stitch? The new trailer that came out. I mean, I think they're going to put it in front of both Mission and Lilo and Stitch. I think they're going to try and hit both demographics there. I do. I hope they do. I think they'd be foolish not to. Movie Talk Now says Superman's going to be in front of every movie now. Yeah, probably. I mean, you're not wrong. It's going to be in front of as many movies as they can get it in front of at this point. Crazy Joe's Concession Stand. It's a direct sequel to Dead Reckoning, and that's going to hurt it. Yeah, it's going to hurt it. I don't think it's going to hurt it. People love the Mission Impossible series. Again, even if it's a direct sequel to that, which it is, I don't think it's going to hurt it. It doesn't help it, but it doesn't hurt it, I don't think, because people like those movies and people like Tom Cruise. It's that simple. Critic Chris says, seeing Bloodline made me miss Tony Todd more. Yeah. I wonder what they're going to do with him gone now for any sequels that come out. Trayvon Purnell says, Rogue Nation is an awesome Mission Impossible movie. Rebecca Ferguson is a babe. Hurry Up Tomorrow. That was what it's called. Glimmercast. Hurry Up Tomorrow is cinema. Glimmercast says, oh, you actually saw it? You're one of the 12 people that saw that movie this past weekend, I guess. Honestly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why it made such little money. Was it limited release? I'm not sure. Let's see. It's in my article here. I just don't know where it's at. Here it is. Yeah, right here. As for the other newbie this week, Hurry Up Tomorrow. See, I knew what it was called. I wrote about it. Jenna Ortega in the weekend. Not great. It limped to 6th place with just 3.3 million. See, I wrote about it and just couldn't remember the name. Sorry, I didn't care enough. All right, let's move on. Next thing that we will talk about, Zolo I can't say that his last name ever. Says Blue Beetle animated series will start production early next year. This is interesting. We've known that there was going to be a Blue Beetle animated series. Now, take this with a grain of salt, because we need to only listen to James Gunn or Peter Safran when it comes to news like this. However, that's not to say that this isn't true. And it's not to say that this news won't break from James Gunn or Peter Safran at some event in the next 4, 5, 6 months from now. But you would also think that Zolo would know, because he's going to play the voice and do the voice of Blue Beetle in an animated series. What's also interesting is he says that animated series will start production early next year. Now, production on an animated series, that's going to take time. If you think about it, like, you're then now looking at a year and a half, 2 years until that series gets released. Or has it been in production, which I don't think it has been, and he's talking about maybe the voice portion of it, like where he goes and does the voice acting for it. I don't know. I wish we could get more clarification on this, but again, I say take it with a grain of salt. I know we're going to get it because it's been talked about for quite some time, but personally, I want to see Blue Beetle more than just an animated. I thought Zolo was great in the Blue Beetle movie. I loved the Blue Beetle movie, and I know that it's technically kind of sort of part of the DCU, at least his character is. So I'm really looking forward to him coming into DCU. But people have kind of taken some more of Zolo's words and twisted it to make it sound like he may pop up in the Superman movie. So this was over on the Reddits, and somebody says, yesterday I met Zolo at Motor City Comic Con, and we mostly talked about Cobra Kai. But I asked him as I was leaving about a Blue Beetle sequel, and he responded with, I think you're going to see me in other movies first. And then he followed that up with, you should see Superman. So it sounds to me like he's basically saying he's in the movie. Now, this isn't the first time that we've also heard that he's going to pop up in other movies. I think this was discussed probably about 8 or 9 months ago, there was the discussion where, hey, he's not going to get his own movie again. He'll probably pop up in other projects here and there. But will he pop up in Superman? I don't know. I don't know where he fits. And what I know, like what we've seen, what I've heard, what I know, I don't see where he fits. I don't know why he would fit in there or where he would fit, anything like that. Not saying it's not possible, not saying it's possible, not that it's not possible, and not that I would hate it. Again, I love Zolo as Blue Beetle. I think he's great, and I would love to see more of him. I just don't know where he fits. It'd be interesting if he popped up in somewhere like in Peacemaker, like in that first scene that we saw in the trailer where they're all trying out for the justice, or where people are going to be, interviewing for the Justice Gang. It looks like Peacemaker goes in and interviews, and maybe we see somebody else in there, another person in there, something like that. That'd be cool. But regardless, this is really interesting. Getting some Blue Beetle tidbits is cool because I want to see more Blue Beetle. But to me, I don't know. Like this here seems like they're just kind of twisting it. I think it was kind of like, hey, he may show up in other things, and then it sounds like he was just like, but you should see Superman. Like, go see Superman. And I think he was saying that because it's like, there's not going to be other projects if you don't go support the current projects that are coming out. So if you want to see me as Blue Beetle again, go watch these other projects. Go check out these projects. Go see Superman. Go see Supergirl. Watch Lanterns. Watch Peacemaker. Go watch this stuff. Make sure you support it. That way I can pop up in future projects and I get my animated show, yada, yada, yada. That's what I think. That's how I take it. Not that he's going to be in Superman. But let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Blue Beetle animated series and whether you think Blue Beetle is going to be in Superman, or if you think it's just kind of like he's saying, hey, go support Superman. That way I'm going to be able to be in projects in the future. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right. What do we got here? Critic Chris says, actress who played Yasmin in Cobra Kai is in Superman. I can tell due image of a picture, but she looked like she may be Sapphire Stagg. I didn't see that. I don't know. Crazy Joe, you're talking to Trayvon there. Critic Chris says he was great in Blue Beetle and loved the Ted Cord costume scene in the movie. Yes. Crazy Joe's concession saying they need to follow up on the end of Blue Beetle and bring back Ted Cord. I agree. I would like to see Ted Cord. Who would you cast as Ted Cord in the DCU? In the DCU, who would you cast as Ted Cord? Kevin Davis says Superman budget is $300 million. This film is going to have to overperform at the box office. There is no proof that the budget is over 300 million or is 300 million for Superman. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. But this is all like speculation right now. James Gunn has debunked any rumored budget for Superman at this point. So until we get an actual number, we don't know. We don't know. But regardless, we did a great live show last week, and there was a section in that which I actually clipped out, which you can find on my channel, where I talk about how Superman will be considered successful. And it's not just about the box office. It's not. All right. Let me get a drink here. Xander, we will get to Superman. Don't worry. Don't worry. I have a few other things to get through. Don't worry. D-Man 7, it's actually $364 million budget for Superman, according to that tax document at the start of filming a while back. Yes, but James Gunn debunked that. James Gunn debunked that. All right. So the next thing, YouTube. YouTube takes further action against fake movie trailer channels after a Deadline investigation. This is really, really, really interesting, okay? How many of you have been, anxiously awaiting a movie to be coming out, or anxiously awaiting for a trailer to drop for a movie, and you just go on YouTube or you're scrolling through social media and you see somebody share or you see a thumbnail for official trailer for this movie, and you're like, "Oh, it's out," and you click on it, and at first you're buying into it. You're like, "Oh man, this looks great," and then you're watching it and you're like, "This just looks like clips from older movies or other movies. I don't think this is from the upcoming movie at all." Well, YouTube is pretty much trying to put an end to that. So, according to Deadline, YouTube has further cracked down on fake movie trailer channels. The video giant has suspended ad revenue on Screen Trailers and Royal Trailer, two alternative accounts run by creators behind Screen Culture and KH Studio. YouTube's decision to suspend the channels from its partner program follows a Deadline investigation that chronicled the scale and sophistication of fake movie trailers. Screen Culture and KH Studio were suspended in March. They are two of the most prolific purveyors of concept trailers, which rely heavily on AI to drive engagement and, in some cases, fool users into believing the videos are authentic. Screen Culture and KH Studios were approached for comment. In a statement, YouTube said, our enforcement decisions include suspensions from YouTube Partner Program, apply to all channels that may be owned or operated by the impacted creator. Screen Culture has 1.4 million subscribers, while its alt account Screen Trailers has 33,000 followers. KH Studios has 724,000 subs, while Royal Trailer boasts 153,000 followers. YouTube's monetization policies state that if creators are borrowing material from others, you need to change it significantly to make it your own. It adds that videos must not be duplicative or repetitive and should not be made for the sole purpose of getting views. Now, what's really interesting here, like I just said, I know that there's people out there who love to do like fan-made trailers, okay? And they love to take their favorite movies and get hyped for a sequel that's coming out, put their own music in the background, get amped up for a movie that's coming out. I know a number of people who did that when Zack Snyder's Justice League was on the horizon, and people were just getting pumped up and they were making their own trailers and doing their own edits and things like that. But the big difference between what they were doing and what like these companies were doing is they were specifically putting fan made, whether it was in the beginning, at the end, during the trailer, or on the title or in the thumbnail. They made sure to highlight that it was a fan made trailer. And a lot of times they were not putting it for monetization use as well. These companies were looking to get monetized. They weren't putting fan made. They were putting official trailer on the thumbnail and the title, things like that. And it confuses people. And that's where they say here specifically, and should not be made for the sole purpose of getting views. Look, we all make YouTube videos to get views. I mean, that's the purpose of going on YouTube, is to make content so people watch our content and get views. But what they were doing was essentially to trick people into getting views. They weren't doing it to get it in a very honorable, respectful way. They were doing it in a way to trick people. Like, look, it's the official trailer for Superman, and it wasn't the Superman trailer at all. It wasn't even time for the trailer to drop yet. They were doing things like that. And that's why I think this is the type of stuff that YouTube should be doing. This is the type of stuff that YouTube should be looking at removing from their platform. They should not be attacking these smaller channels who are trying to get up and really make a name for themselves and doing good and having good conversation and making good content. No, they need to attack and go after these channels who are doing things like this. I mean, you see a thumbnail like this from Screen Culture, Thunderbolts Ultimate Trailer. First off, that's not even a scene from a movie or a trailer or anything. Like, what is that? I mean, that's the kind of thing that they do. And it's crazy. So to me, I think this is a really good move. I know a lot of people like to criticize YouTube for a lot of the changes and moves they make when they start taking action against creators. But in my opinion, this is a move that was really smart of them, really bold, and I think it really puts people on notice to realize, like, hey, we got to be careful on how we do this. Like, sure, do your fan trailers, do your fun things for the fans and get people hyped, but don't do it in a conniving way. Don't do it in a way that you're trying to trick people into thinking that it's a real trailer. Don't do it in a way that you're trying to trick people to thinking that you're Warner Brothers or you're Marvel or you're Disney putting out these trailers. And I think that's the best way to do it. But let me know your thoughts on this. I'd love to hear what you have to say about all this. Again, I think it's interesting, and I'm interested to see how far they take this as time goes on. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do we got here? Anybody saying anything about this? I don't think you guys care, do you? Nobody cares? Wow. Well, nobody cares. Okay, moving on then. That Park Place tells us Gears of War movie adaptation to be helmed by Deadpool 2 director. That's right. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Netflix has tapped the Fall Guy director David Leitch to helm the live action film based on the iconic Xbox video game franchise. He did Fall Guy. That's right. Leitch, known for his stylish, stunt-driven action fare like Bullet Train, Atomic Blonde, and Deadpool 2, is currently in negotiations for the project. He'll also produce alongside his 87 North producing partner, Kelly McCormick, who's also his wife, with the film co-produced by game developer The Coalition. Look, are you a fan of Gears of War? I liked the first game. I liked the single player. The story was really interesting. It definitely owes itself to being told on the big screen. I really do think it could be done well on the big screen for sure. But I also worry that it's too massive of the type of story to do in a movie. I mean, you're talking about an 1.5 to 2 hour long movie for something like that. That's my concern with it. Now, the script is being penned by John Spates, whose recent credits include Dune and the sequel alongside Denis Villeneuve. That collaboration may hint at the kind of world-building ambitions Netflix has in mind for the grim and gritty sci-fi shooter adaptation, a dense lore, post-apocalyptic stakes, and a world crumbling underneath both physical and moral rot. Now, keep in mind, this is Netflix. I do think that they would throw it up on the big screen, but it would probably be a limited release, and then it would be on Netflix. And that's where my big issues come in. Netflix typically is not great with movies. They're not. TV show, absolutely. They do some great things with TV shows. But when it comes to movies, I just, here or there, they have a good one, but typically they're not good when it comes to movies. So for me, I would say this is a bad move for it to be on Netflix, and I would rather them not even make this movie if it's going to be on Netflix. Personally, that's what I would say. Now, for me, David Leitch, good director. John Spates, solid writer. Netflix, bad partner to do this. Now, if they treat it like a television series, maybe it can work out. But I don't know. I'm really concerned about this. Gears of War, like I said, it has this really interesting lore to it, but it's larger than life. It is a huge, larger than life type of story, type of lore that can expand to the past, to the present, to the future. It's huge. It's bombastic. It's one of those types of stories that, one, would be great for the big screen, which they'll probably only do in limited release if they do it. Two, I mean, how much promoting do they do for that stuff? Netflix never promotes their content, so you're not going to get a lot of eyes on it. Three, Netflix movies aren't great. I mean, I don't know. I'm concerned is all I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm concerned. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think will happen with this? Do you think this is a good idea for Netflix to move forward with this? They're going to. This might be the best route they can go, having someone like Leach and John Spates on board. Now it comes down to who's going to be the actors in it and what kind of story are they going to go with it? Are they going to go early on in the war, in the middle of the war? Like, where are they going to start with this whole story? Those are the next few questions that we have. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure you subscribe and all that stuff too. Yeah. All right. You guys just are talking about everything else but the topics I'm talking about. Look at that, man. All right. Marvel's Daredevil Born Again just did the unthinkable. It wasn't great. So Marvel's Daredevil, or Daredevil Born Again, I should say, or whatever it was called, did terribly when it comes to what it ranked on the charts. Now, here's kind of a breakdown of how many minutes it gained per episode. And it didn't even chart in the top 10 ever on any episode, which is not very good. Now, I'm not going to talk much about this, but just for perspective, to chart. So here, we'll go like this. This is the first show for Marvel that has not charted at all. None of the episodes charted at all. Even She-Hulk charted, which is crazy. Now, to chart that week, you needed 385 million minutes watched. Paramount's Mobland made it. Daredevil did not. So, in the final week, episode 9, 385 million minutes was not enough to chart that week. But Paramount Plus's Mobland did chart, which hasn't been a great show either. Marvel missed every mark, no bump, no last minute surge, no binge saving, just dead air. People just were not interested in this show at all. The crazy thing, if you take a look at between April 14th and April 20th, you see all these shows. The Pit was phenomenal. Black Mirror, Ransom King, and Handmaid's Tale, Love on the Spectrum, The Residents, Glass Dome, Wheel of Time, Reacher, and Mobland. They all charted. Look at that. They all charted. Top 10, Nielsen. Okay? What does that tell you when it comes to Marvel? Because there was a point in time when people would watch anything Marvel. Marvel, like Marvel was it. People would watch Marvel. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that you're going to get Black Mirror numbers. That's a crazy amount of minutes. But Handmaid's Tale, heck, even The Residents, Glass Dome, like even around there, absolutely, I think that's possible. Absolutely. Now, there is a second season coming, which will probably be the final season. I can't imagine that they'll renew it for a third season after how poorly the first season did. Now, a lot of people will sit there and blame the first season with how they kind of had to essentially retool it midway through and rewrite, reshoot a lot of it. But even the second half was not good. Nobody was watching the second half. But what does that tell you for the second season? If people dropped off the first season, that means they weren't interested. What's going to pull them back into season 2? And that's going to be the struggle for them. That's really going to be the struggle for them. Sure, they're bringing in Kristen Ritter. They're talking about Luke Cage being in there. We know Punisher's going to be in there. But again, is that enough? Like, basically, you're just like, yeah, Charlie Cox, Daredevil, can't do it on his own, so let's just bring all the Defenders into it. Well, then what's the point of calling it Daredevil? Called Defenders. Then people might watch it. I don't know. What's scarier is we now have Ironheart coming out in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And it is getting ratioed beyond belief because right now, or whenever I wrote this article, it had 7.8 million views, had 406,000 dislikes to only 199,000 likes. Nobody wants to see this show, this Ironheart show. Now, this Ironheart show is based off of a character in the comics, was introduced in 2016. She was introduced in Invincible Iron Man, like issue 14 back in 2016. She then got her own run in 2019, which her run did not sell well. So I don't know why. I don't know why they felt it was important to bring her into the MCU, but they're bringing her in, and nobody cares. The trailer was not good. It wasn't. It wasn't a very strong trailer. Not to mention that they dropped it the same day as the Superman trailer, which was foolish of them. It was foolish of them. They waited too long to drop the trailer also, if you ask me. They should have dropped it in the middle of Daredevil, like in the middle of the season, while people were watching Daredevil, and then exclusive look at the upcoming Ironheart or something like that to get people excited, or at least try to. But it's absolutely maddening to me that you go from Daredevil, which people seem to have enjoyed, but nobody watched, to another show that nobody wants and is probably not going to watch. It's really, really baffling. You then see how Thunderbolts just didn't do well at the box office. Was a fantastic movie, but the box office number just isn't there. Brave New World struggled mightily. We're going into Fantastic Four in July, guys. I kept saying this. I've been saying this for months. If one thing after another continues to struggle and fail, Fantastic Four is going to struggle too. And yes, I loved Thunderbolts. I thought Thunderbolts was fantastic. I wanted to succeed. I wanted to do better at the box office. It's just not. But how everything is going right now, all of this is going to hurt Fantastic Four. I don't care what anybody says. This will 100% hurt Fantastic Four in July. It will. And then after that, you got Wonder Man, and then you got Doomsday. I'm worried. I'm worried for the MCU. I really, really am. I really am. But let me know your thoughts about all this. It's really, really concerning, really interesting. You can check out the whole article over at slavsfreetalk.com to get a better handle and grasp and understanding of what happened with Daredevil, with their rankings, because with the Nielsen charts, because it's not good. It's not. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Crazy Joe's Concession says Thunderbolts was great, but was never going to be huge because it's second stringers. Yeah, it's partially it, but I think people they weren't going to go to a Marvel movie at all. Trayvon says if dropping it on the day of the Superman trailer isn't enough proof that Marvel doesn't care about that show, then I don't know what does. Yeah. Movie Talk Now. Would you tap She-Hulk as She-Hulk or as Jen? Definitely not a She-Hulk, I'll tell you that much. But Jen seems crazy, so neither. What else you guys saying over here? Movie Talk Now says, I'm convinced Marvel released this Ironheart trailer the same day as Superman intentionally. They're embarrassed by this. Yeah, I think you're right. I do. I do think you're right. Jimmy Clark Kent says, Ironheart looks uninspiring. Trailer just felt generic to me. 100%. Absolutely. ES says, should have did a War Machine show instead. They were supposed to, and then for some reason they just decided not to, which is ridiculous. It's just dumb. What else do we got? Anything else? Nothing else here. All right. Moving on up. All right, Superhero Cuts over on X shared new look at Ralph Ineson's Galactus in the Fantastic Four First Steps in theaters on July 25th. Man, this looks like shit. It looks like complete shit. I'm not saying it doesn't look comic accurate, because sure, it has the look of Galactus, but it looks like shit. It looks bad. It's drab, it's gloomy, like it just doesn't look good. Now, I'm shocked that they just went with Ralph Ineson's face. No, like I'm not ragging on the guy. I mean, he looks the way he looks, but it doesn't look menacing, if that makes sense. Number one. Number two, why is it so damn dark and gloomy? Like, why didn't they brighten it up a little bit? To me, it's like, what? Trayvon, I'm sorry, I gotta share this because it's just funny. He says Galactus looked better as a cloud. Oh man. But honestly, like, why didn't they color him up a little bit? Like, if you take a look at the comics, he's not like super bright and like all this colorful, but he doesn't look so dark and gloomy. It's like they went and changed things to look more like old DCEU, like everything's so dark and gloomy and everything. And it's, what happened? Like, what happened there? I don't like it. I think it looks bad. Maybe it'll look better in the context of the film. I'm going to give it that. I'm going to say, look, maybe when we're watching it in the movie, it'll look better. But in the stills that have come out today, it does not look good. Not one bit. It does not look good. Again, maybe it looks better in the movie. I'm hoping it does, because I have a lot of hope that Fantastic Four is good. I really hope that it's good. But this is just not it, guys. This is not it. At least at this point, it's not it. I don't think it's it. Here, let me let's just do this, because I don't know if you know what Galactus looks like in the comics. But this is essentially Galactus like in the early comics. Like right there. Right there, that's Galactus. He's not like super bright, but he's not so dark and gloomy looking. Like, I don't know. Like, I just, you see, like, he stands out a little bit. To me, this just, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know. Maybe it's me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What you think about Galactus? Did you like the Cloud better years ago, or do you like this better? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's see here. What do we got? Amory 4X says people zoomed in on his face and saw the MCU lines. I didn't know that they did that. Yeah, says he looks like a huge fat old man baby. Jeez. Let's see. Xander says, to be honest, I really do like the look of Galactus. Hey, more power to you. I don't like it. I think it just drab and dreary and just gloomy. I don't know. I don't like it. Again, maybe it'll look better in motion during the movie, but yeah, not here. Not here. Not at all. Critic Chris says, I think he'll look better on film. At least I hope so. Me too. Trayvon says, I'm as dead serious as I am when I say Fantastic Four, Daredevil, and X-Men were in better hands at Fox. Jeez. There you have it. All right. Next thing, Superhero Cuts. Savvy Sync is reportedly playing Mayday Parker in Spider-Man Brand New Day. That's right, Mayday Parker. is apparently going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, do you remember, what was it? I guess like 2 months ago, maybe if that. There was rumors about Sadie Sink coming into Marvel, and everyone's like, "Oh, she's gonna play Jean Grey because she's a redhead. Oh, she must be Jean Grey. She's gonna play Phoenix or whatever." Well, obviously, that was wrong. But what could she be really like? Here's the interesting thing, because I've been hearing mixed reports. There's some people saying that Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be a grounded movie, and it's going to use like characters that have no multiversal properties to them. So where does Mayday fit in that? But then there's people that say, no, it's going to be a multiverse movie, and Mayday is going to be the daughter of Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. Okay, so that's where she would fit in then. Like, so I honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. Now, she does have superpowers in the comics. So will she have powers in this? I don't know. Personally, I just kind of, I'm on this side that I kind of want a grounded Spider-Man. I do. I want a grounded Spider-Man. I don't want another multiversal Spider-Man. What I'd like to see, honestly, what I would love to see is I would love to see a Spider-Man movie, maybe even two, but I guess we'll just get one, where it is legitimately just Spider-Man being your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And he's doing his best being himself, being Spider-Man, doing what he can. And he's not brought in to the issues of the Avengers, of the larger MCU and the Doomsday and the Secret Wars until he absolutely is called upon and needs to be part of it. That's what I would like. But with the deal that Sony and Marvel are going to have to make, Sony's going to be like, we want 47 characters in this, and we want to do this, and we want to do that, and it needs to be connected like this, so we get all the money. And that's what it's going to come down to, unfortunately. And it sucks, because we're missing out on what could be great Spider-Man movies and content, which is unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. But look, nothing against Sadie Sink. I think she's a great actress. I liked what I saw of her in Stranger Things. But I also think this would be kind of below her. I mean, this would kind of take her out of the running from doing anything bigger in the MCU. Or maybe she just doesn't want to do anything bigger in the MCU. Maybe she's just like, yeah, I'd like to play in that for a couple years and be done with it. Or maybe she's like eyeing something for DC and like, yeah, I'll play in there for a couple years. And I really want to go play with James Gunn's DCU or something. Who knows? But to me, this is just odd to me. Like, why would you bring Mayday Parker into it? And how would you bring Mayday Parker into it? Because it's not going to be a long-lasting part. Like, I just don't see how it can be a long-lasting part. I don't know. I don't know. Or is it Sony just trying to continuously push and pull all of these? Like, look what they tried to do with Madam Web. They were like, we got to make an all-female Spider-Man movie. We saw how well that did. Are they still trying to pull this idea of like, well, people want female-driven Spider-Man stuff? Well, not necessarily. Like, if it fits narratively and it's a good story and it's a strong character, well-written, blah, 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 sure, we'll watch it and we'll support it. But if you're going to force it, no, nobody's going to want it. So it's really interesting to see what they're going to do here. Like I said, I personally, I would rather just have a more grounded, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man movie. Leave Mayday Parker out of it. Make her somebody else completely. Make her Mary Jane Watson. Get rid of the other MJ and go from there, personally. Although she's kind of young, so would that really work for Tom Holland? I don't know. Whatever. Let me know your thoughts, though, in the comments below. Love to hear what you have to say. Crazy Joe's concession stand says, I don't believe for a second it's Mayday Parker. Yeah, I get you. The Watcher says, "I like this. I've been wanting Mayday forever." Yeah, well, I mean, if you have, that's great. I just don't think now's the right time for it. I don't. D-Man7 says she's going to play the true MJ Watson. Yeah, I hope so, but she's still kind of young, though. That's what I say. Trayvon Purnell says people better be all over Sony. They're wasting their time panicking over WB and DC. Yeah. What else do we got? Trayvon says if Sadie was playing a daughter to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, then go Spidey. He finally hit that with MJA. Crazy Joe says, yeah, I'd give a kidney for Firestar, Spider-Man, and his amazing friends. Do it, Sony, do it. Amara4X. Steven Yeun, I to be in this film and play Mr. Negative. That'd be cool. He was supposed to play what's his face? Sentry. Movie talk now. Mark my words. Doomsday is leading into a reality warped world where everyone is going to live in a parallel story the way we did in House of M. This lines up with the leaked Doomsday concept art. Could be interesting for sure. All right. Okay. Watcher says it makes sense because it's rumored Brand New Day takes place in Doom's battier world, so Mayday is time displaced because of incursions. Yeah. And D-Man7, who isn't in the next Spider-Man movie? Facts. All right, guys. Hey, look, Superman news. We have some Superman news, guys. Look at that. So according to some rumors, Superman tickets are due to go on sale on June 12th. Now that lines up about what I was thinking they would go on sale about a month before the movie comes out. Now this is just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. That would, though, if let me take a look at my little calendar here. Let's see. We just got the trailer that day, so that'd be 1, 2, 3. That'd be about 3.5 weeks, roughly, between trailers, because my guess is they're going to drop another trailer of some sort right around that time. That's my guess. Whether it's in a final trailer or an international trailer or something like that. Something with new footage to commemorate or to get people excited about the tickets being on sale. Now, for me, I think this is around the right time. Rumor has it that Fantastic Four tickets are going to go on sale the week before this. Now, people are suspecting this because they're saying that they want to get those out before Superman does. Now, Fantastic Four comes out 2 weeks after Superman, so that's really, really early, if you ask me, for tickets. I don't know if that's true. I wouldn't be surprised if they went on sale the week after Superman when it comes to Fantastic Four. But I have to say that June. Now I see D-Man here saying tickets on sale now rumored to be June 10th or 11th. Again, yeah, that makes sense. It lines up right around what I was saying. About a month before, 10th, 11th, 12th, somewhere around there. It makes sense. It really does. But what do we think? Do we think that the pre-sales are going to be indicative of how well it's going to do opening weekend? Now, there were some early numbers that somebody was passing around. I have no idea where they got them, saying that Superman was going to open to like 120, 150, something like that, worldwide. Was it worldwide or was that domestically? It may have been domestically, actually. Those are crazy numbers. And I wouldn't say, I'm not going to say that's not possible. But it would have to be tracking really well with those pre-sales to do that. I really think that that week is when the tickets are going to go on sale. And you figure that gives them a month, 4 weeks for pre-sales. That'll give them a strong idea of how to market the movie from week to week prior to that. How far and how hard they have to push the marketing prior to the movie, which is going to be huge. I mean, each week we get closer, the marketing is going to be larger and pushed harder and harder and harder. Now, how hard and what areas they're going to be pushing is going to be determined by the ticket sales. So it makes sense. It really, really makes sense because of that. I don't know. What do you guys over there say? Amari says 150 to 175 domestic, I think. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'd be all for it. You figure if it makes that domestically, you figure it's going to make that or more internationally opening weekend. So you're looking at easily 300, 350 opening weekend. Easy. So if that number was to stay true, I don't know if that's going to be factual, if that's going to be exactly what it's going to be. I would love for it to be more, but that's really, really early numbers, though. Really early numbers. What else do we got? Yeah, the Watcher says, I believe Superman could make even more than that. You're right. It could. I mean, it right now, as I was looking or as I was posting on social media today, the one thing I've noticed is people are excited. People are excited. I was scrolling through YouTube, and the amount of reaction videos I've seen for Superman for the positive are crazy. Like, there's so many positive reactions to that trailer. And to me, that shows me that there's fans out there that for a while have been looking for a Superman movie or a superhero movie to give them hope again in the genre, in the DC franchise, whatever in that regard. When we talk about the minority of the fans of the fandom that is just so negative all the time, they are very loud. And I see the same names pop up in so many of these videos. The same names. They're just popping up in these videos, just talking shit about these people being excited. And it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me because there's no need for it. Now you have other major YouTubers. You have your big names out there in the pop culture commentary world. Some will sit there and say that it's going to make $1 billion. Some will say it's going to make 500 to 700 million. Some will sit there and say it looks good, but it might do okay, it might not. You have them out there. They're all playing it safe. Let's be honest. Most of them are playing it safe. You're looking at your John Campias, your Robert Meyer Burnett's, your Christian Harloffs. Those people, I see what they're posting. I see what they're talking about. A lot of you guys even message me or send things in my chat here. Hey, did you hear what John Campias said? Did you hear what Robert Meyer Burnett says? I see those things. A lot of them play it safe. A lot of them don't want to take one side or the other because they have a personality online. Some of them. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of them do. Okay, a lot of them do. You have those other people that I know a lot of people talk about here, which are like the Geeks and Gamers guys, the Nerdrotics, the Critical Drinkers, the Geeks and Gamers guys. All those people. What's the other one? Regardless, they all sit there and they'll sit there and they'll watch the trailer and say, it looks all right. I don't like this. I don't like that. And they'll talk shit on it in one video, and then in another video say, I'll still watch it. I think it'll be okay, because they play both sides. And then you have the other people who are passionately against the movie. You have the other side who are very much for the movie. The ones, like I said last week, who I am most interested in seeing and hearing from are the ones who have no skin in the game, who just haven't a clue what this minority fandom says, what John Campea says, what Geeks and Gamers say, what I say, what Boba Talk says, what anybody says. They're the people that I'm most interested in seeing, and seeing their reactions and seeing how they feel about it. Now, somebody shared a video with me. I don't know if it was last night or this morning, but I watched it this morning, of a YouTuber who was sitting like outside of a mall or something. And man, I wanted to do this with the teaser trailer so bad. I just couldn't make it work. Because it was right around Christmas time, I just couldn't make it work. I wanted to go to my local like Walmart area, somewhere over there, and just grab people and have my kids record me, asking people to watch it and say, hey, what do you guys think of this? Never got a chance to do it. But this guy did it with this new trailer and had like a dozen people watch the trailer, and he asked them questions about it. Now, a couple of them knew that the movie was coming out and knew about some of the things that happened over the course of the last few years, but some of them didn't. Some of them had no idea. A couple people were like, who's this guy? And things like that. And those are the people I want to see, because they're the genuine general audience. And when they start talking about it and they start watching the trailer and then they start saying, this looks good. Yeah, I want to see this. You can tell this trailer, this movie is going to hit the general audience. Once they start seeing the things on the TV, the trailers and the movies, the trailers on YouTube, and as they start perusing the internet, they're going to see it and it's going to click in them like, that's a movie I want to see. And then their friend's going to go see it and they're going to be like, man, that was a good movie. You need to go check it out. And then they're going to go see it. And that's what's going to happen, because that's how it is. So this quadrant that I'm looking at, you have these YouTubers, these people on social media who just have done these reactions to this movie, who typically don't watch superhero films, who aren't invested like I am or you are, who watch this trailer and are like, man, this is a good trailer. I cried, or stuff like this. And then it's the general audience. Those two are so much more important than us or the haters. So much more important. And it's landing with them. This movie is landing with them. But I want people to understand is, and the reason why I bring this up, to bring it all the way back around to the ticket sales here, is the ticket sales, the pre-sale tickets, these people, the general audience, typically don't do the pre-sale tickets. They don't. The general audience are more the audience that will go day of and buy the tickets, or take their kids day of, that kind of thing. So the pre-sale tickets are going to be a lot of the fans, a lot of us. We're going to get in the pre-sale, as soon as the tickets go on sale, we're buying the tickets day of, for the day and date of release. That's what we're doing. So that's what's happening with the pre-sale. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. A lot of people are going to try and spin things a certain way, but that's not how it works. The general audience isn't very much in buying pre-sale tickets. They're just not. That's just how it works. Again, this movie is going to be for a younger audience as well. So when it comes to kids don't buy pre-sale tickets. A lot of times, adults, parents will take their kids to the movie theaters and drop them off on the weekend and say, here's $50, $30, $40, whatever, go see a movie. So you guys got to pay attention to that. Pre-sale, a lot of fun, a lot of great. I'm excited. I'm going to buy my tickets that day. But don't go on that day thinking, oh, after a couple weeks, the pre-sale tickets are going to show that this movie is going to be $1 billion movie. It's not how it's going to work. I'm not saying that it's going to be a bad sign or it's a good sign. I just want to make sure that everybody keeps their expectations in check, because the general audience, that's who the marketing has really been for. The pre-sale is going to be for the fans, the big fans, and even the haters are going to buy their pre-sale ticket. You know they are, because they're not, they can't miss it. They have to go see this movie, so they're going to get the pre-sale tickets too. But that's kind of how it works. So just keep that all in mind. I know you all know. Just want to make sure you all are aware. But let me know your thoughts. Are you going to get tickets the day that they go on sale? How many tickets are you going to buy? How many times are you going to go see this movie? Let me know your thoughts and what you're going to do in the comments below. All right, guys. Who do we got over here? Joe James says, what's up? What's up? Boy. Amari says, my mom even saw the Superman trailer and she's not a superhero person and she likes it. Yeah, I mean, it's popping up everywhere. It's what was I watching? My kids were watching YouTube last night. Was it last night or 2 nights ago? And we're like watching like cat videos, and an ad came on, and it was a Superman trailer. I'm like, heck yeah, let's watch it. And my daughter, my 4-year-old, absolutely loves crypto. Anytime crypto comes on, she loves crypto. Excuse me. Trayvon says, DC enthusiast, I'm subscribed to him. He did the same thing with the Superman teaser, Mount Rushmore of superheroes, among others. Yeah, that's exactly who it was. Dude, he did a great job. Like I said, I wanted to do that with the teaser so bad. I have another idea, because I wanted to do that, and I had another idea what I wanted to do. And I still might do my other idea here before this month is over, maybe in the beginning of June. I need help from my kids. One of my kids, at least, one of my boys, I need help with. So I hope I can get it done, because it's going to be like a 3 or 4 hour excursion out in the wild with recording and audio. But I think it could be a lot of fun if it works out like I want. Be a really cool video for everybody to watch if it works out like I want it to. Donovan Martin says, I know what you're talking about, Slav, but of course Sean O'Rourke is twisting it like people don't know what about this new universe. They know, and they're going to know. Omar Diaz says, hello, what's going on, man? Glad to see you here. You got a great channel, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Love your channel. Love your stuff. Omar Diaz says, I'm going off grid from social media when the movie comes out and can already smell all the BS. Oh, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. Trayvon says, I used to be subscribed to them back when I had mass. I don't know who you're talking about there. Amari says, we all know Aaron going to go see it. Oh, heck yeah, he is. But he also says that he's going to give it a chance. He's given the movie a chance, he says. That's what he says. Trayvon says, I intend to buy pre-sale tickets for Superman, as do I. Xander says, please make a video exposing this fellow named Tyrone Magnus. He does not play it safe whatsoever. He is a grifter. He lies to his audience, and he shits just to shit. Trayvon says, my dad caught the Superman trailer at my local Dairy Queen, and crypto got his attention. Look, you know, the one thing that just baffles me is when people get upset that they use crypto for the marketing. Like, it's a character in the movie, you can use it for the marketing. Like, why not? Why not use the characters in the movie for your marketing? It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah. Excuse me. I think that's all we got today, guys. It's a pretty good show. Thank you all for popping in today. Remember, this Thursday, we got a Watchtower where we talk all things DC. I'm thinking. I don't know what I'm thinking for this week's Watchtower. I had an idea, and it kind of left me. I had it the other day. Hopefully I can remember what it was, because I thought it was a pretty cool idea. But yes, this Thursday, Watchtower, 8:30 p.m. We will talk all things DC as we always do, so it'll be a lot of fun. And yeah, make sure you guys follow me on all the socials and everything like that. All that jazz, all that fun stuff. And with all that said, guys, I'll talk at all of you later. Here's a quick ad before the end of the show, so I will talk at all of you later. Guys, I want to talk to you about nsabers.com. I was lucky enough to partner with them and talk about some of their cool lightsabers that they offer. This one here is one of two that comes in a package called the Twins. This is an awesome lightsaber. It's got some great features, different colors, different sound effects, and things like that. But nsabers.com offers a plethora of different types of sabers and prices as well. Some as low as like $99 up to like $800. Some that are great for dueling, some that are great for conversation pieces that sit on your mantle or on your shelf. But I encourage you all to check out nsabers.com. Use my code SLAVSFT for an additional 7% off on any of the crazy deals that they have going on right now to get a great lightsaber